Hello everyone, and welcome to a Halloween stream. Just thought I'd do a short little thing today where me and a couple of buddies just go around telling spooky stories for a couple of bits. Before we get any further, why don't I introduce everybody? I'll start with the schizo who posted a video about this. Take it away.
It's me, famous YouTuber from famous YouTube fame, Daft, otherwise known as Kuyo. If you know me from my podcast, it's Hasher. But I made the video. I'm the big famous YouTube here this time. Like, I can be the guy who's like, no man, I don't do it for the money. I don't do it for the fame. I do it explicitly because I care about the project, and then I'm gonna, like, behind closed doors, I'm just gonna go around like bad mouthing everyone and saying that, like, I only care about the money and that I have to find a way to make my $2.5 million mortgage every month somehow, because I decided to overspend and went to a hard money lender in California.
That was way too specific. Who you referencing?
So I was watching a video last night, and the Ace family? Yeah. I don't know if you know who they are. So basically, they took out $10 million in hard money loans, which is, and for those who don't know, a hard money loan is basically what house flippers use, where it has crazy high returns on it. So, like, just paying it back is very hard. But the difference between a hard money loan and a normal loan is hard money loans can get super, super high in terms of how much money you can get, but you just have to pay it back in a year with a lot of interest. So they took a hard money loan on their house, and if you don't know what happened to the Ace family, they did this thing called social gloves, where they had a bunch of TikTok people and a bunch of YouTube people fight. What? And apparently didn't make the money that they were expecting. So they're getting foreclosed on because their house is, like, mortgage every month is, like, more money than people make in a year. It's like $235K or something per month. Yeah.
It seems like they deserved it.
No, that's what a lot of people are saying. If you decide to buy a $10 million house in the fucking, like, richest part of California and you can't pay it off because you made some bad business decisions, that's your fault. I mean, that's me. I'm famous YouTuber, Daft who bought a house in California. Yeah.
I did want to also apologize if anyone heard me drinking. I'm not actually drinking alcohol. I'm drinking water responsibly.
Water.
I'm gonna drink alcohol now just because you said it.
I have already drank an entire tankard of cider. I feel no shame.
Since, Hunter, you have piped in about your alcoholism, why don't you introduce yourself?
Oh, hello. Yes, I am an alcoholic and a drug addict. My fame I use to get more drugs and live a very unhealthy life of animal abuse and wife beating. Hello. Nice to meet you.
I'm the wife, by the way. He beats me.
Yes, she is the wife.
Last but not least, please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm the victim of the alcoholist. I am forced to draw art in a sweatshop because of him. I have no freedom, and please help me. Also, I think my name is Suel. I've long since forgotten because I've not been left out of this basement in, 10 years now?
20.
20?
Uh-oh.
Oh my.
Oh god.
Is this like that once? I remember watching.
I guess I'm in trouble again.
I remember watching, like, this one news story where, like, these girls were trapped in this basement for like 20 years and they escaped because the guy, one of the neighbors found them. Like, did a neighbor find them?
Oh yeah, that happened in Germany.
Oh my god.
What the hell?
What is Germany doing?
I think I know the one he means. I think it was Fritz family or something. Basically, this guy built, like, a basement that had no blueprints or known records in the government. Mm-hmm. Then he made a secret entrance there that his wife didn't know of and hid someone else in there.
Wait, he was married?
Yeah. It was fucking insane. And, like, she never saw the daylight before or was educated.
What the hell?
It's really fucked up. I have to get up the specific story. Here, wait. Here. You can read it out loud, Taha. And just for the record, I do not live anywhere close to the alcoholist. I hope.
The Fritzl case emerged in 2008 when a woman named Elizabeth Fritzl, born 6th of April 1966, told police in the town of Amsten, Austria, that she had been held captive for 24 years by her father,
Wow.
Yeah.
Josef Fritzl. Fritzl had been assaulted, abused, etc. numerous
Wait.
times during her imprisonment inside a concealed area of the cellar of the family home. What?
Wait.
You
Yeah.
scroll down, this thing just gets weirder.
Was she
and weirder.
Was she kidnapped from like a hospital or something?
No. This was this child apparently. I got some bits wrong. Excuse me.
Then how did his wife not realize she had a child?
All right, here, let me.
I think
On August 28th, 1984, when Elizabeth turned 18. Oh my god. Her father lured her into the family basement by saying that he needed help carrying a door. She got white vanned by her own dad.
yeah, it's really fucked up.
Jesus.
He held
What the
an
hell?
Ester-soaked towel to his daughter's face until she was unconscious, and then threw her into the chamber. His wife filed a missing persons report, as she was none the wiser of it.
Why would he do this?
He was just fucking insane in the head.
They made a movie about this, I think.
Did they?
Yeah. I think there's a trailer about it and everything.
They make a movie about everything these days.
Sure, you want to start us off with a spooky style story, or?
Let's think.
I got one if you're still thinking.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Go ahead, man.
All right, this is a story that fucked me up. I watched it. I watched the video when I was like in bed at 1 a.m. and it fucking scared me. And now I'm terrified of caves. This is the story of the Nutty Putty cave. Real story. Horrible thing happened. So basically, what happened is in the Nutty Putty cave. I think it's like in Arizona or something. These cave jumper inners, that they go into caves and they go around for fun, which is insane to me. And they went to this Nutty Putty cave, this group. So there was a father, his brother, and I think one of his sons. Now, as they delved in deeper and deeper, this is a well mapped formation. They knew where everything was and they followed the map. So this guy was just like, all right, I'm going to go through here. He didn't understand at the time that this portion of the cave was not documented. It was completely unexplored, but he went in regardless. So as he crawled in, his brother was behind him, and he crawled forward, and there was sort of went down a bit. And as he crawled downwards at this down incline, he kept crawling, and he wanted to turn back at this point, but he couldn't because he physically can't turn around, and he can't crawl backwards. In the context, it just doesn't work that way. And at some point in the darkness, the actual decline actually went so steep, he actually slipped and fell forward, face down, into what is basically a 85 to 90 degree position upside down in this very thin cavern, and he realized that he was stuck upside down. And you can sort of try to understand that's a very bad position for a human to be. We're not made to be upside down. By the time everyone came to help, he has been in that position for about 30 minutes. Still alive, still well. Rescue people came in, and they're like, all right, we're going to help you. So what they did is, at first, they were like, okay, so we're going to get these drill holes, and get like a kind of pulley system to actually tie around his legs and pull him out. So as they're pulling more and more and more, this guy is rising and rising and rising. His feet hit the roof of the cavern, and it won't go any further because physically he can go in, but he can't come out. So the only way to actually get him out is to break his legs backwards to actually get him out.
Jesus fucking Christ!
Yes. So as they tried to do it more and more, the actual one of the supports actually broke out and smacked one of the rescuers in the face, doing a severe amount of damage to his face. He had to retreat, and when this thing blew out of the wall, he fell down even further than before, crashing into the cavern deeper 9 degrees upside down, and basically, they kept trying to help him, and about hours pass, and he's still in this position, and eventually, about I think it's like 10 hours in, he's dead. And because they confirmed his death by sort of reading the pulse on his feet, and they didn't feel any, so they assumed that he was dead and he wasn't responsive. So what they did is they informed the mother, the wife, who actually came and was outside the cave. So they basically sealed up the cave to be his eternal tomb forever.
No.
Yikes.
I've heard a decent amount of fucked up things, but I'd say that's kind of up there on.
Yep. I think it's one of the worst ways for a human to
Wait, so
die.
is this real?
Yes, 100% real.
What the hell?
Of course, I am a human, and I mixed up some details and left and omitted some stuff for the sake of time, but that's basically everything. It's real. Look it up.
Yep, Hunter is in fact a human. It is real. You can look that up. He is registered.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I should believe that the hunter is a human.
Husher, I heard you wanted to transition into something because you said speaking of
my godlike transition, which was ruined by all of you, because I'm a big man YouTuber, I have to now berate everyone for how shitty they are because they haven't had my level of success.
Of course.
Yeah, I got to play into the character, right? I did buy that house in California for more money than I'll ever make in a year, so I could like hang out with like DJ Khaled and all that.
Of course.
But yeah, I wanted to talk about Skinwalkers because that's. I'm not quite. I don't really have a story, but I thought it would be an interesting thing to tell people because there's plenty of people who don't know what Skinwalkers are. So, for those of you who don't know, we have a legend told by the Navajo Native Americans.
Where are the Navajo tribe? What state?
So the Navajo, I believe I don't know exactly where they are. I know they're southwestern America. So I want to say
think like Arizona, New Mexico.
Yeah, Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, around that area.
Okay.
So they have a legend of this thing called the Skinwalker. And what Skinwalkers are just to briefly sum it all up, they're humans that have terrible, terrible, terrible like moralities. They're horrible people. And what they do is, for lack of a better term, they exist purely to cause pain, to instill fear in other natives, and kill people. And this is complete conjecture here. This is what I've heard and what people have said, that they're like an omen for worse things to come. Usually the reason that these Skinwalkers kill is, and I'm not even getting to their powers yet or what they do, but the name should be kind of a giveaway. They do it because apparently the killing and the fear and all that stuff like fulfills some insatiable lust that they have for like wealth or power. To become a Skinwalker, you need to kill your closest relative. And in doing that, you basically abandon your humanity. And that allows for you, similar to how like Wendigos have to like be super greedy people and they have to kill like people close to them to become Wendigos. Skinwalkers, once they do that, they can skin any or animal, anything, and they can wear it. But what they choose more often than not is stuff like coyotes, cougars, wolves, foxes, goats. They'll wear the skin and they morph into that creature, but it's not quite perfect. It's you can sometimes you can tell, sometimes you can't. A common story I used to be told when I was little was that if you ever see an animal on the side of the road and it doesn't have like the glint in its eye, as in like if you shine a light at it, its pupils don't reflect back, that's a skinwalker, and it's stalking you in either preparation to instill fear in you, which typically works because if you see an animal, you don't see a reflection in its eye and it just stares at you like some like buck in the forest or something. You're going to be scared, I'd assume at least. What gives me the chills about it is the fact that they can even take on the appearance of other humans.
Oh my.
Yeah, so there's always the chance if you're in a forest and you meet someone in a forest. I mean, first off, if you're in a forest and you see someone,
Fucking
that's
shoot.
yeah, exactly. That's run. Don't even talk. Run.
Run.
But typically, they'll use that thing to like guide people into like traps. They'll like act like a human and say, "Oh, you're lost in this area? Yeah, just drive up the road. Blah blah blah. Do this." And so you might be wondering to yourself, "Okay, I've met a skinwalker. I am in fear of my life. What do I do? How am I supposed to get around the skinwalker?" So in Navajo legend, and I'm this for a fact, I know for a fact, the silver bullet one, and the bullet stuff in general is just it's definitely an adaptation of European legend into this. Because obviously this legend existed before Europeans came around, right? Mm-hmm. So, what the way you do it modern day is silver bullets into the animal, or you dip the bullets into white ash. Yeah, so there's that, and then you have another thing, and this is what I assume is the more traditional way of killing one. You have to say the skinwalker's real name, and you have to say that like to its face while it is transformed. But yeah, apparently, and after 3 days of saying that, the skinwalker will apparently just slump over and die from a terrible, terrible illness of some kind.
Huh.
Oh, that's good.
Now, I have one story a while ago, but I'll say this first. The reason I'm not scared by those legends is because they are fictional stories, but also, even if it was real, if there was actually a thing called a skinwalker that did everything you said it did, it could still be killed. Because if it's real, it would have developed by natural means through evolution. It would be an active participant in the ecosystem, and most of all, it's made of flesh and bone, just like us.
Well, it's not their actual body there; it's like their soul that's inhabiting the flesh, or the skin of the animal. So, yeah, you can stab it to death, but like, will you ever really get rid of it?
Okay, I did bring up a little earlier that I had one for Hunter that's recent. So, during the 1980s, I don't know if you guys know what the Siberian traps are, by the way.
No.
Siberian what?
Siberian traps.
I believe that's a mountain formation, right?
Kind of. It's similar to Mount St. Helens, where it's a mega volcano, right? Anyways, around the Siberian traps, in the 1980s, a large crater opened up, and that's not unusual. That happens all the time, right? Except this one was a little weirder. It was perfectly circular, and there was an experiment that the Soviet scientists did around it, where they lowered microphone equipment down into it, right?
Fucking Soviets.
And the only thing they could hear is what they relayed as thousands of people screeching.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, I've heard about this.
I've heard the recording actually.
The thing is, though, we can't replicate that in any of the other craters. And we don't think it's magma because we have actually had, microphone equipment get trapped into like lava flows, and it doesn't sound like it.
I've heard people say theories of like basically crazy creationists saying stuff like it's the sounds of hell and stuff like that. Because of course, there has to be a natural, real explanation.
Well, I was gonna say.
Yep.
What happens when you're around a volcano? Do you know?
I'd rather not know.
Equipment. So when
there's a lot
electronic,
of feedback, I assume, yeah.
So because a volcano is obviously molten. Well, it's magma, which is from the center of the earth, right? It's all molten rock and other various things that cause magnetic interference. What you do when you bring something like a drone or because they actually do use drones a lot in exploring these kinds of places, you have to basically take every one of the components inside that robot and like cover it in something to make sure that the volcano and all the crap from the volcano doesn't interfere with it. So what I think, and obviously the recording could have been tinkered with. I've heard it once or twice, but I'd have to listen to it again. But I think when they dug a hole into the ground, they stuck a microphone down there. More than likely, it was a combination of, because microphones are just big old coils. If you've ever looked inside yours, it's just a giant magnet, for lack of a better term. It's got like inductors in there. Inductors are just like electromagnets. I'm very much oversimplifying right now, but what happens when you take a microphone, you throw it down into a place that I assume is covered in snow or something. Yeah, so it's covered in snow, so obviously you're gonna get the sound from the snow and the microphone going down. And once it's at the bottom, more than likely you can hear stuff like magma, you can hear stuff, and then there's the obvious interference from the volcano and the magnetic field itself. So what I think happened was a combination of a bunch of stuff that created those sounds.
That's surely likely.
Yeah, while I'd love to like have it be hell, right? That would be like the coolest shit ever. Right? I mean, it's a little scary, but like really cool. Like, wow, we discovered hell. It would be really cool discovery, but the fact that it's only been done once in one specific spot probably draws more to my conclusion that it's like a specific location really close to the lava flow with like magnetic field interference.
I mean, surely that's a high possibility, but like I said, they did test other holes that have opened up like that, and none of those sound the same.
I like knights and stuff. So when I was in high school, one of the guys was like, "Hey, I have this dagger I don't want anymore. I can sell to you for $20." And I was like, "Hell yeah!" So I gave him $20 and he sold it to me. And after I had it for about a month, I was wielding an infamous SS German Nazi dagger, so I felt safe with it. So as I walked out, I walked around this forest a lot. It was near my home, and it was very fun. You know, if you go in one direction, you'll find a highway over there. If I go into the left direction, I don't really know what's over there. I knew the landmarks and everything, so I knew where I was going. So I was just like, what's over there? Because I go to the left, and I'm on this large hill overlooking a stream, and beyond that is the unknown. So I'm like, all right, time to see what's over there. I never went over there. So I keep going. I travel about an hour, hacking through bushes and thorns and all that stuff. As I went through, I eventually came upon a large stream. The actual stream eroded the land around it to the point where it was a sheer cliff going down about like 6 feet. And as I was looking around, I was like, all right, I look up the stream, down the stream, trying to look for some way to cross. I see a log to my left, about 20 feet down upstream. And as I'm hearing this, I hear clap, clap, clap. I'm just like, what the fuck? I sort of perk up and I try to see where the noise is coming from. It's coming from across the stream. Clap, clap, clap. I'm just like, hello? It's unusual to see someone so deep into the forest, I say. Clap, clap, clap. No response. Hello? Clap, clap, clap. I'm just like, fuck you. And I start clapping in response, copying his clapping. So I do clap, clap, clap. There's silence. Clap, clap, clap. Clap, clap, clap. It responds. I'm just like, what? I respond. Clap, clap, clap. Clap, clap, clap. Silence. It responds with a different tone, a different rhythm of clapping. I'm just like, I'm not any harm. I'm just exploring the forest. Responds with the same clapping tone as before. And so I'm just like, all right, well, I'm coming over. Don't be scared. I'm not a threat to you. And so I walk over to the log and I start walking over. And as I make my way, I'm sort of like on the other side now. I'm looking around. Important note to take is at this point, I did not have my glasses and I did not wear contacts. So I was mostly blind. So I was blurry vision all over trying to see any kind of movement. And then I heard bah, like the bah of a sheep somewhere around me. I immediately took my dagger out, looking around, wildly spinning around, trying to find wherever it was. Silence. I kept looking around. Nothing. With my dagger still out, I calmly walk over the log again, looking over my shoulder time to time, careful not to run, because if I run, if it is something dangerous, if I run, it will pursue. If I walk calmly, I knew this, it will show that I'm not scared. And so I kept walking home. That's the story. I don't know what it was.
There's a little tale that I used to be told when I was but a wee child. When my parents would like lose something like keys or a thing they were looking for explicitly, they would always say, "Oh, it must be a Jinn." And for those who aren't aware of what a Jinn is historically and religiously, right? Like not like the anime version of a Jinn where it's like some chick wearing scantily clad Arabian clothing.
Aw.
So Jinn are, at least in Islam, are these creatures made of fire, and they were made alongside humans. Wherein I believe, and I could be completely wrong about this, my brother will probably know more when he comes back. Traditionally, Jinn in Arabian legend are these creatures that like roam the desert, and they kill people who are traveling from city to city. Right? They replace mirages in a way. What it ended up becoming in Islamic lore was these creatures created alongside humans that basically, I guess for lack of a better term, live on a different plane of existence, where we can't see them, but they can see us. And Jinn will typically live by trees on the side of the road. And so when I was little, my mother would always tell me, don't go out at night and walk by the side of the street, otherwise a Jinn will snatch you up. And I always found that kind of creepy because there's trees all over the side of the road, like in like a residential neighborhood. I always wondered like why would a creature live there, or why would that happen? And then, like I said, my parents would say, "Oh, a Jinn stole our the key. We'll find it in a bit," or something like that. And so I always got curious, like, hey, maybe there are supernatural things that go around taking your stuff just to mess with you.
The traditional version of a Jinn is less that of like a fairy where it just, screws with you, and more of a in classic Arabic folklore, and Husher did bring this up, they are manifest as both sandstorms and mirages, right? And that's why they're said to be made out of fire, because if you've ever been in a sandstorm or in sand on a hot day, it feels like your insides are on fire. It manifested originally in this kind of like idea that it's a creature made out of fire, and generally a creature made purely out of fire would be malevolent. You can go anywhere in the Islamic world today, and almost every culture has a story of Jinn possessions, and I can promise you, almost every person that has like Islamic ties, culturally, religiously, whatever, probably knows someone that was possessed, supposedly.
What?
Yeah, the stories are very, very prevalent. The folklore is very, very ingrained into the people.
And they actually believe this.
Yeah.
As a fact, that there are actually these supernatural beings.
Well, if you're religious, then being like interwoven with the supernatural is core to your being. The biggest thing with them, right, is that they're so ingrained into what people just perceive as reality. So one of the things we in the West have gotten away from is you usually think of these folklore things as, oh, it's just a bunch of uneducated or undereducated farm folk that just believe in this nonsense, right? But if you go into other parts of the world, regardless of how high up you are stature-wise or whatever, the folklore stays with you, and it's integral to who you are as a person. There isn't really this distinction between, oh, this is mythical or this is religious and this is reality. It's all very interconnected to a point where there really is no defining lines.
You should only believe something if there's actual evidence for it. Like hard evidence. Otherwise, you're just believing in something that cannot be true.
Let me posit this to you. I'm doing this to play devil's advocate. I know you know this. There's no hard evidence for gravity.
Oh, the theory of gravity being like the bending of space and time, I guess, right?
There's no hard evidence for gravity.
Well,
there's mathematical evidence, but there's no hard evidence.
Okay, that's ridiculous. What's keeping... When we say gravity, we mean the force keeping us on the ground.
Yeah. A flat earther would say that's buoyancy. They're wrong, but...
Oh, who's that?
Who's what?
Everyone here.
It's him! It's him!
Oh my god, it's the elusive cryptid. The American scribble.
Get your cameras. My brother.
You don't want to see these. I'm like on unknown people on Walmart.com.
Everybody watching, this is Cameron. He is the elusive cryptid. He shows up every once now and then.
Well, it's not my fault you guys decide to do your goddamn streams whenever A, I'm sleeping or working.
Well, stop sleeping and working, SMH. We were talking about spooky stuff, and we're having a bit of a philosophical debate on big feet, and then it turned into gravity.
What the fuck? What about gravity?
Gravity is buoyancy.
So, there's
Okay,
no
Jesus.
technical hard evidence for gravity. All the evidence we have is mathematical.
No, there is physical evidence of gravity. Look at it's called gravitational lensing.
No, I know that. I'm just saying there's no technical hard evidence. There's physical evidence, but it's a technicality. So I'm trying to make a point that it's on a technical line.
Hard evidence is called drop something.
Can you define physical evidence?
You can't see gravitational waves with your eyes, Hunter. And that's the problem with a lot of people that like believing stuff like that, is that they have to be able to see it with their eyes to consider it real.
Bruh.
You can see the effects of gravity by just dropping something.
No, you can't. Gravity's not real. Shut up, dude. Oh
Hunter,
my god.
Cameron, we were actually talking about that because I brought up that a lot of flat earthers use that as an excuse by saying that's not gravity, that's buoyancy or density.
That's not how
buoyancy.
You can't have buoyancy without gravity.
I know that. You know that. You gonna tell flat earthers that?
You gonna sit here and tell me, someone who just does physics problems for fun, that you? Oh my gosh, I just hate people.
Visceral emotion coming from you.
I can
love
just
it.
feel the
I'm
angst.
going to snap. One of these days, I'm just going to snap and then build a giant wall around my house with a moat. And you have to have an IQ of at least 110 to enter.
Wow, you're gonna have to ask everybody inside to leave too.
Oh, don't worry, there'll be an online test.
Online tests are an excellent way to measure your IQ.
Exactly the point. If you take it, you fail.
You take it, you fail.